Okay, so looks like we're live. This is Edward Kranz, the Honey Badger Binder of BookForge, and I would like to welcome you to the first session of BookForge Live in 2026. I hope everyone had a super fantastic holiday, and by holiday I mean Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever holiday that you practice or don't. I hope it was incredible, and I hope everyone had a happy New Year. And whenever the Chinese New Year is, I hope you have a happy New Year then too. So, how have you been? I know it's been a few minutes since I've done a BookForge Live, and you know, last year did not go the way I envisioned it. And part of the reason for that is I was doing some volunteer work at a place called Feed Media Art Center in historic downtown Erie. A fantastic place. If you're into media art and you're in the Erie, Pennsylvania area, I highly recommend that you stop in, check it out. They have all kinds of incredible artists in residencies. They have a sandbox. They have a public lounge area. They have permanent displays of NFTs and just exhibitions going on almost all the time. They also support a thriving nightlife with a group called Static, and they do a club night every Friday or Saturday. You'd have to check the website. And basically it's 10 till 5 a.m. in the morning, and you can dance your heart away. They also do what they call Vinyl and Flow, which is kind of cool because you can bring your own records. They'll spin them for you, and you can dance around. You can play around with hula hoops and the light things, and it's just a really good time. Now, the point of all that is I did quite a bit of volunteer work there. I was there more than 3 days a week, and trying to really help those guys out as far as like their marketing, getting volunteers, setting up programs. You may or may not know, I sit on the board of directors of the Erie Art Company, and we formed a partnership with Feed. And in that partnership, part of the agreement is that we help them out with those things. So I spent a solid 9 or 10 months there, and which meant I wasn't here for you, and I apologize for that. For those who stuck around and remain my patrons, thank you very kindly. For those who left, I hope you come back, and for those who join us in the future, welcome. Now, I'm not going to do that again this year. I do have some extracurricular events planned with Erie Art Company and Feed, but I've also started another company called Fikaki Creative Works. Now, what Fikaki does is kind of what I was doing for Feed already, is I do a lot of marketing communications, business planning, but I'm focused on the creative arts. And I mean, I'll work for other businesses too, but my focus is bolstering the creative arts in the businesses, because a lot of times artists aren't really great at business. They're great at art. So that's where I come in. Now, with all of that being said, what I am committing to is a minimum, bare minimum, one bench live stream a week. So it'll be whatever I'm working on, whatever's on my bench, you'll get to watch me work on. It's kind of a bookbinding voyeur type of scenario where I may or may not be talking. It depends on my mood that day. I might just be working. The camera's on the book that I'm currently binding or restoring, and you can watch. Now, if in the process you have questions, you can definitely drop the questions in the comments below. When I'm doing live streams like this, I typically don't respond to them because I don't have a computer monitor in front of me. It's off over there. I got another one down there, but I can't really read them, and that one there is a display of my cameras. So I have the talking head camera, which you're looking at right now. I have an overhead camera, which is kind of fun. And I can switch and you can kind of see what's on my bench. And okay, so my hard drive that records these sessions, I'm gonna have to get a new one because it decided to crash. My PTV no, PTZ camera also decided to crap out. I'm gonna have to get another one at some point. It's the one that tracks me around the room. And so right now I'm left with my Nikon, which you watch me on, and I have this camera here. So, like I said, bare minimum, 1 bench session a week. Now there's gonna be a caveat to that, and it's a good caveat. Because I spend so much time at Feed, I am massively behind on my restoration client books. Like a year, 10 months at least, a year. And I need to catch up. So what I plan on doing is I'm gonna do more frequent benches, probably 2 a week until I do get caught up. I wanna be completely caught up with all of 2025 before the end of March this year. At the same time, I'm gonna be taking on new clients and getting them prepped, and I'll work them after I get caught up, or at the same time. We'll see how that pans out. Now, so that's good for you because you're going to see probably a solid 2, maybe 3 if I'm feeling kind of spunky, bench sessions a week. We'll see how it goes, but I promise you, bare minimum, an average of 1 a week. So the second thing I'm going to do is I want to do a weekly The Business of Bookbinding, and kind of this is the Fikaki aspect of it. I'm going to talk about how to price your books, how to figure out material costs, how to figure out a break-even analysis, how to create a business plan for your creative business. Now this is, I'm going to tailor it for bookbinding and restoration because that's what I'm doing right now. But if you're a painter, a sculptor, a musician, if you do woodworking, anything in a writer, this kind of these sessions, these business of bookbinding, the business of creative business sessions will be helpful for you. And each week I'm going to cover a different topic. Some will be more lengthy than others because of the complexity, but I'm going to build up kind of slow. Branding, marketing, communications, getting your LLC, setting up bank accounts, finding yourself a tax guy. Find yourself a tax guy. So I'm going to try and do at least 1 The Business of Bookbinding sessions. And if I don't do a video session, I will definitely try to do at least 1 post. It might be text with an image, but it will have to do with the business of bookbinding. I just recently launched a series, I want to say it's Rag and Spark, and it's from the Fikaki Substack. And while it's not necessarily bookbinding and restoration, it does talk about how my interest and my being in the arts and bookbinding was influenced by my work history. I owned a construction company. I worked at Boeing as an aircraft mechanic on the 787 program. I eventually became an analyst for the Boeing company. And then after 12 years, I struck out and wanted to go do bookbinding and restoration as a profession. So this article is about how my experiences with my previous jobs influenced how I ran my bookbindery, which in turn kind of really drives the ethos behind Fikaki Creative Works and its kind of punk attitude. Now, I'm not talking necessarily about the 1960s, 70s punk rocker, "Arr! Aye, matey!" I don't know how a punk rocker became a pirate. Oi! There you go. But more of the anarchy, throw the rules in your face, or there are no rules type of attitude, where a lot of times in corporate America, they are so locked in, they have the blinders on what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it. And here's the guide. Well, the guide is just that. It's just the guidelines. Again, back with the pirates. But if you know the rules, you know where you can bend them, and you definitely know where you can break them. And it's really important. Are you kidding me? Oh, shit. That is so funny. I did not realize I left that on the other camera. I hope you had fun watching my hand move around. I feel a little bit like an idiot, and if you're still watching this, great. If not, I totally understand why people bailed, because what kind of bonehead does that? Multi-camera setups. All right. So today, we are going to take a look at what I need to get done between now and March. And it kind of gives you a preview of what you're going to see either on the workbench, and then also in the video series that are coming up, because I owe you the next video in this book. Now it's 1700s Midwifery by Smelly. This book has been completely disbanded, and you already have the video of that process. Well, I need to get back in the saddle and I need to finish this. So this is one of the books that you're going to see in a video session. I also have some other projects that we're going to be working on, and I'll cover them as we go through the different projects I have. But my cat's now on my computer. Isn't that lovely? ADHD, risen with autism. So yeah, so I'm just going to jump into this, and we're going to cover restoration work, design bindings, historical bindings, and all kinds of stuff, because I'm behind. And since I brought this one up, let's go ahead and now I'm going to deliberately switch to the other camera. And so we, on camera, started disbanding this, and this is my bag of everything I took off this book. Now, this particular book, and I'm gonna my glasses on for this, 1700s, a collection of preternational cases and observations in midwifery by William Smelly. This is volume 3. The book came to me pretty much in this condition, where it had no binding, no case, nothing. It had some bands that were left on it, and then the stitching. So I cleaned off the spine a little bit more, and I completely disbanded the book. I went through it, I assessed what kind of damage there was done. So go ahead and look for the previous post, but this is probably the next video I'm going to work on, is taking this to the next level, which I need to do some paper repair on the first and last signatures, and then we're going to sew it, and then after that we're going to go ahead and line the spine and everything, and then of course eventually we'll get to the leather binding. So stay tuned for this one. This is going to be an excellent project to check out, and so I'm going to try and remember to turn on the right camera. All right. So this particular project, I have 2 volumes. Oops, let's get my client's name out of the picture. And these are 2 books by Dickens. And as you can see, these books have seen better days. The leather is shot. Now, the client does not want these fully repaired or restored. He wants them functional, and we do what I call a functional restoration. So we will make this book readable, so as he's going through it and reading it, the spine, the case doesn't fall off, and more damage isn't done to it. So essentially we're going to stabilize it. So I don't even remember the date on these. I believe that says 1907. Yes, 1907. So this will be a project for, while it is going to be restoration, it's going to be more conservation, because or at least have conservation philosophies, because we're going to be minimally intrusive and basically stabilize these things so he can read them, and it'll preserve them so he can put them down, and there'll be pretty books on his shelf. So this is another project that you get to see start to finish. I can't wait to do it. All right, so I have this paperback book. and it is descendants of Philip McIntyre, Scottish Highlander, who was deported by Oliver Cromwell following the Battle of Dunbar, September 3rd, 1650, and settled at Reading, Massachusetts, about 1600s. Now, this was compiled by Robert Henry McIntyre, and this book has a particular special meaning because this is actually my wife's book. It's my wife's family. We have a lot of McIntyre family, especially in the Connecticut area. And they gave this to her, and, or did they? Maybe, yeah, I'm pretty sure they gave this to her. And so what I was going to do is I was going to take this, I was going to turn it into a hardcover, and I went and picked up the McIntyre clan tartan, and so it's going to get bound in this beautiful Scottish tartan. Now, I imported this from Scotland from a real kilt maker, and it's authentic, 100% authentic. So she doesn't know that I'm working on this, but this will be another project that you'll get to watch from start to finish, and basically it's going to be a rebinding of this book, and it's going to be in the McIntyre tartan. Okay, so that's kind of on the restoration side of house. We are going to do some fun 14th, 15th century style bindings. Now, this is a white oak, and it's quarter sawn, which is what you want to use for bookbinding. Now, quarter sawn is kind of the most wasteful way to cut a tree, but being quarter sawn, it prohibits it from warping, which is what you want for a book. So now, I ordered this from the India Cotton Paper Company, Pondicherry, South India, and this is 100% cotton rag. It is a beautiful paper. What you're looking at right here is about $80 worth of 100% handmade cotton rag paper. So as you can tell already, the paper by itself is 80 bucks. There's probably another 20 or 30 bucks. Prices have probably gone up in board. So these are going to be some really cool high-end medieval style bound books, and they can be grimoires or journals or whatever. They're going to be blank, no lines, no nothing. But we're going to use some very cool exotic material. Some of them will be bound in deer. I really want to do one in buffalo for some reason. So we're going to go ahead and bind these in a traditional medieval. I may even do one in Byzantine because, good Lord, I'd want to try that. Okay. So another project, start to finish. You guys will get to watch. I've got like 5 or 6 of those I need to make. So this is a book I've been working on for a while, and it's pretty much done. When it came, it was in pretty sad shape. As you can see, it's a folio, not quite an elephant folio, but it's pretty damn big. This is a beautiful book on Venice, again from the 1700s, and we completely, I don't remember if we disbanded this or not, to tell you the truth, but we definitely, we stripped the spine, we relined it. It has new handmade end bands that are period accurate. Let's go ahead and switch over to this camera so you can see the end bands in there, the leather work. You know, maybe I did resew this because I'm seeing my my bands. So we definitely relace these boards back on. All right, so what I still have to do to this it's hard to admit something that you're not particularly good at. I'm excellent at bookbinding, I'm excellent at restoring. For some reason, I struggle with tooling. And I told the client when he asked me if I could put the title Venice and the date back on here that I am not particularly good with working on the book. Now, if you have a case and it's flat, I can put it through the quick print, or I can get the correct leverage on the bench. I do all right, but for some reason when I'm working on a rounded spine, I struggle. Now, I tried several times. I had to remove the gold, and I'm getting to the point where I'm wearing away the dye on the leather. It's going to look like crap. Now, right now, it just looks worn, and I can deal with that. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a label. So this is a thinly paired, put it through a Scarfax machine, pieces of matching leather. I'm going to go ahead and stamp the title and the date on 2 pieces, and I'm going to put them on like a label because for some reason, I just have not been able to get this. Now, I need practice, obviously. I don't do a lot of tooling. It's just not what my bindery comes across a lot. And so, you're probably going to see that on video. All right, I'm going to put this baby back over here. All right. So we talked about some design bindings, and it's something that I enjoy doing, and we just haven't done a lot of it lately. So I came up with some concepts, and as you'll see in posts, previous posts, towards the end of last year, I put out some concepts of what I'd like to do on certain books. I have a couple more that are coming. They're polls. Please scroll down, find the polls. There's one still active, and go ahead and read the descriptions of what I'm thinking about for the design bindings and vote. So one of the books that we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a design binding for this copy of the Ultimate Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Love this book, the humor in it, and so this is going to be a lot of fun. Then one of the other books we're going to do a design binding for is this copy of H.P. Lovecraft, The Complete Works. Now, these are personal projects, they're just for fun, and something to look forward to in the very near future. Now, I do have other design bindings coming up. We have Edgar Allan Poe. We're also doing a design binding and an artist book for The Handmaid's Tale. As I mentioned earlier, I'm on the board with the Erie Art Company, and we started something called the Erie Lit Fest, and we've had 3 or 4 of them now, and they've really blown up. Warner Books has got involved. I believe they're taking it over, but what I want to run in association with it is a banned books artist and design binding competition where people can submit their design bindings and their artist books. There'll be a winner for each category. There'll be a jury decision on the winner. There'll probably be a cash prize of some sort. And then we'll have a public vote on who the public thinks the best in show is for both artist book and design binding. So this is a lot of stuff. Towards the end of the year, this would be September is traditionally when the Erie Lit Fest is, so there'll be a lot of coverage on that. You'll see the development of my 2 books. I'm going to put one in the design binding, one in the artist book. I'm actually working on a concept for Perks of Being a Wallflower. I may do that one. That will be an artist book. So stick around and enjoy those. So I'm going to get these guys off the bench. Okay, so these guys. This is an old cookbook, and I've already, the client has 6 or 7 siblings. I took the book apart, I scanned it. I'm going to be making other books for the siblings, but this is grandmother's old cookbook, and I've already got it back together again, so we'll be doing the binding on this. This will probably be a live feed because I've already started it and there's no start to finish with this one. So to give you an idea, this was the cover, what's left of it, and this was the back cover. I'm going to incorporate these into the new binding. Got all kinds of stuff here. So yeah, I'm going to switch over to the overhead. Now, this was a personal project. I've been doing some social media posts, but essentially, when I was first starting off in bookbinding, I printed a lot of crap off of the internet, and that's what I was learning. So this was a conservation repair manual that I downloaded, and there's other really fun pigments and suppliers and all kinds of stuff. Well, it's been sitting in a box as a loose leaf and just getting damaged and pushed around. So I figured I'm going to do a Lumbeck binding with sawn-in kerfs, and that's what I did. So I'm to the point where I did the Lumbeck binding, I sawed in the kerfs, and now it's ready for me to line the spine. Now, the same with this. This is the PMBOK, which is a project management body of knowledge, and when I was learning project management, this is the Bible that you go by. Now, this is my student copy. Again, I printed it out. This isn't going to be for sale, it's just for my own reference. But I decided that since it was sitting in the same box, loose leaf, that I would turn it into a book so I can use it as a reference book, and it can sit on a shelf and stop getting destroyed. So 2 personal projects that I'm working on. So from time to time, you take a project that you regret. And I deeply regret taking this project. And I've been dragging my feet on it. So this particular book came to me, and I thought I could do something with it, but I'm going to hold this up. The pages are highly acidic, and just, I've been trying to do paper repair, but every time I touch it, it's disintegrating. So I kind of put the brakes on this one, and I'm going to talk to the client and see what they want to do. Because, I mean, I can put it back together again, but they'll never be able to open it or handle it. So yeah, and it's a dictionary, and you can probably buy the same thing in decent shape online for 20 bucks. Same year. I mean, I shouldn't have taken this one. All right, let's okay, so I have to adjust my straps. I don't think they're right. It's tighter on one side. All right, so for my design binding of The Handmaid's Tale, I picked up a copy of The Handmaid's Tale from the Folio Society. And this is going to be the book that I do my design binding on. So I'll take this case off, I'll take a look at what's underneath, and then I'll proceed accordingly. So for this design binding, it's going to be a fun project. Again, I believe, I can't remember if I posted the poll on this one or not, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So check back and vote on the poll for your design and let me know what you want to see. Oh, seriously, why is this so lopsided? Huh. Alright, someone was messing with, okay, I have a whole box for this client of really fun goodies. I'm not going to go through each book by name, but give you an idea of some of the books that I'm going to be working on. The Justice and Constable's Assistant, being a general collection of forms and practices. So this is 1805, and we're going to stabilize the spine and do some other things. This one I've already started working on. It had fallen apart, and there was no spine left on this at all, so we put a new leather spine on it. Let's see. So yeah, this has a piece of tape holding the cover on. The spine is completely gone. So we're going to be working on that. And what do we got here? Dysoterica, Historical Collections, the State of Pennsylvania, 1843. So this is another one that we're going to be doing. Now this is all one client. This one, Rensenberg, Koschebusch. I can't speak German, but typically don't recommend that you keep your book in plastic. This one is open. It's really cool, as you can see in there. The spine lining is like an old newspaper. This book is German. But I was saying, we don't typically keep books in plastic because condensation and mold. This one is just in there because we want to keep everything together, and the top is open. So we have this client. And this is getting annoying. So as you see, we got a lot to cover. This one. This is a 2-volume set of Letters from Hell, which was a very controversial book at its time. And as you can see, this one got blown apart. It's just destroyed. So this particular client, we are going to do a couple different things on this, and it's kind of going to be a restoration / design binding and a conservation project. So when this one comes up, it's going to be interesting, it's going to be complicated. You will definitely see like all of the important forms, intake, intent, and then follow this through the process. If you only see If you only see one of the videos of the projects we do, this is going to be a really cool one because there's a lot going on in this box. And yeah, you want to check it out. I'm excited for this project. Okay, let's see what else we got here. So this project, we are going to do a design portfolio, or a couple matching design portfolios. I got my initial sketch there on how this is going to work out, but essentially this design portfolio will have a built-in stand for it, And so artists, lots of work, graphic design, fine art. Then there's a middle-sized one. But they want something custom. And then these are just old, dirty, they're very commercial. All right, so we're going to make 3 matching portfolios, and that should be pretty dang cool. So another project we're going to do start to finish. Let's see what we got in this. Okay, this box should be pretty fun. So this one's underway. My apprentice is working on this book. Now this is, I don't remember the date. Again, this is probably 1700s, early 1800s. And this was the case of the book. And as you see, as was practiced back then, the lining of the spine, or in this case the binding, was recycled either book paper or something along those lines. So Sharon, the apprentice, she has already done some paper repairs because the signatures were damaged. And now she's going to move on to resewing this book, and that's going to happen this week. And then here's some stuff that came off the book. All right. So this is another cute little project. I'm in the process of trying to find the right velvet for this. So it's velvet with metal around the edges. And let's go ahead and we'll change this camera up. There we go. So another family heirloom. It's got a cute little latch to it. So this will be another project book that I'll be working with the apprentice on. Now, Sharon's not necessarily an apprentice anymore. She's been working with me for over a year. I call her the apprentice because she's still learning. She's obtained enough skill that I consider her a bookbinder's assistant. She is a bookbinder at this point. Okay, this is another project you're going to see start to finish. Yep, there we go. And so lots of restoration. Here's the spine to that book. So I'm very excited about these projects. Take the next tote. Bet you didn't know a bookbinder could get this far behind. All right. So this here is The Unholy Murder of Ash Wednesday. And this, interesting enough, is, again, going to be a multi-tiered thing because a dog ate this book. Chewed off the edge, and you can see the cover's completely destroyed. But this is going to become a design binding. So we're going to do the repairs to this book, and once the text block is repaired, we're going to put a design binding on it, which is going to be infinitely cool. yeah, this is another one I'm excited about. You'll love the design binding. All right. So this is a copy of Lorna Doone, and while the outside looks in relatively good shape, the inside, as you can see, needs rehinged. You know, there's some things going on here. We're going to get the book apart and see what's going on in there. It might just be some spine lining and then recasing in. Hopefully we don't have to resew it, but we'll take a look at that. That was Lorna Doone, by the way. Oh, okay, so these are actually some personal projects I've been working on, and so these will probably be on the bench for live sessions. Now this particular book, I had some leftover vellum drafting paper, so it's a really nice imitation vellum, and then the end papers are a really nice moire pattern, and sewn on cords, sewn on end bands, and we're going to put a really nice pretty cover on it. So that'll be a fun project that you'll get to see us finish up. So this guy, this is going to be an interesting design binding. The client had seen some relief sculpture work, polymer clay, done by an artist that went by Mandarin Ducky. I think she's doing other things now. And she asked if we could do something along those lines to this book. Now this is Fables of Aesop, and so what we're going to end up doing is taking this apart. I'll check out the spine and see what kind of condition it is. It is shelf cocked, so I may have to completely disband it, resew it. Looks like it also might be broke. Yeah, I think it's broke there. And then once we get the book back together again, we're going to make this polymer clay design binding. So another fun one to track. And this guy, this is a book by a local artist from Erie, The Unwanted Prophet, and we're doing a design binding for this too. We've already, this was a paperback, it was a perfect binding. We turned it into a sewn, well, not sewn, I'm sorry. We did a Lumbeck binding with sawn in kerfs, and I round and shouldered the spine. I bet you didn't know you could round and shoulder single pages. You can. So we also did some edge decoration on this. So it's going to be a pretty book, and one of the things that I've been working on is reproducing paper mache bindings, and I've been working on my recipe for the paper mache, and this is super light. It's made from 100% cotton paper, plaster of Paris, and some other things for reproducing paper mache bindings from the 16th, 17th century. And this is going to be put on the cover, and of course eventually covered with leather. It's super light, and I'm also going to take some design cues from the original binding as far as their illustrative motif, and we're going to have some fun with this. So this is another book. Again, it probably won't be a start to finish because I don't remember honestly if I filmed any of this. So it'll probably be a bench book, so you get to see that. Okay. else we got here? Nothing. Well, I wouldn't say nothing, but not a project. Okay. Limp vellum. So one of the things the apprentice will be doing this year, because we won a grant facilitated by Erie Arts and Culture through the Pennsylvania Council of the Arts, which is now rebranded. Her first apprenticeship grant paid for some tools, materials, a little bit of my time, and she spent a year working in the bindery. Now this year she's going to be learning restoration and historical bindings, and we won a second grant, a little less than the first one, but better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. So one of the things we're going to be working on is limp vellum bindings and vellum bindings as far as historical. So let's go ahead and bring this box up. So this is one model that we'll be working on. Now this was a little case I did. Vellum is notoriously difficult to work with, and the text block here is 100% cotton rag, and it's ready to be sewn and attached to this vellum case. Now, if you don't know a lot about vellum and bookbinding and using vellum in bookbinding, vellum is very hygroscopic. And what that means, if you bind a book in vellum and it's dry out, and then you go and it becomes humid, like during the summer, the vellum absorbs the moisture and expands. Now, if you bind it when it's humid and it goes dry, it contracts and it'll pull your book wide, it'll make it yawn wide open. So it's really hard to work with, and you have to dampen the leather or the vellum to work with it. So we're going to be doing some books like this, really fun vellum bindings. Okay, my friends. I've been trying to start this project for about 5 years now, and I think this year is a year that we're going to start it. And here, let me get these out of here. Definitely have to check these out. Are you ready for this? I'm going to slide this over here. Look at that dirty, that's how long it's been sitting under my bench. That there, my friends, is a 1770 Nuremberg Bible with alum Todd pigskin. And as you can see, this poor thing has had better days. It's missing most of its hardware. The clasps are gone. Now, I already have the alum Todd pigskin in stock. Ordered that a couple years ago. I have a guy in Germany lined up to supply the hardware, the corner bosses. You can see I've got, 3 on that side, but I only have 1 on this side. The center boss is missing. So what we're going to do is we are going to completely disband this book. We are going to clean the pages, re-sew it as it was done in 1770, and then we're going to rebind it with the alum Todd pigskin. I'm going to distress it to make it look a little bit older because I don't want it to look bright, brand new. We're going to put on the hardware. I'm going to do the tooling as it is done on here. And I usually don't open this without, I'm going to come over here, give you an idea what's inside the book. I don't know if that's upside down or not, but this is going to be one hell of a project, and it will be a start to finish, and my goal is to finish it this year. So finance is willing. You know, donations would help. Yeah, I really don't mind patrons helping us out, because just the pigskin alone was $400. The hardware is going to be another like $1,200 by the time I pay for importing. I have to have a large enough space. I have to rent to, when I do the paper washing, I can hang it. So there's a lot involved in this particular project. The book was originally purchased for $200 or $250 in its current condition. When I am done, the book will probably retail for $7,000 to $10,000. I haven't honestly decided if I'm going to keep the book or put it up for sale. Now, if you don't know, the Nuremberg Bible is all in German, so I can't necessarily read it, but it's still cool as hell. And this would kind of be, I don't consider myself a master at the moment. If I do this the way I envision it and I pull it off, I may just step over that threshold to master. Maybe, in my own mind. Who knows? All right, so this is the jour de restance. This is the project you've all been waiting for. And I have one more cool project to show you. Oh. All right, actually a couple of them. So I have this Bible that came in. It's got a puffy case. It has some small issues in the hinge area here at the top. Especially, you can see it really pronounced here. It's just breaking. When this book came in, it reeked of decades of cigarette smoke and tar. I cleaned the leather. I can still smell a little bit, but I mean before, you touch it and your hands would turn that, yuck. So I'm still waiting for the client to tell me what exactly I'm going to be doing with this book. They want it restored, but we haven't discussed level or price. This is a project I'm currently working on, and that's all you need to know about that. I'm just currently working on it. So one of the other things that we're doing some medieval bindings and girdle books. So this is 100% cotton rag. The end papers are actual vellum. The slips here that are on the spine, the lining, are actual vellum. It's sewn with linen. I have linen primary, German primary end bands, and this will be a medieval book when it's done. Some of these will be just straight medieval books. Some of them will be girdle books. If you don't know what a girdle book is, look it up. This one here is a little bit further along. Instead of vellum slips, I have linen on here, which is also acceptable historically. The board is laced on, and the slips are attached to the inside of the board. And as you can see, the end band is also laced into the board. So let me turn on the overhead so you can get a better view of this. So this one here is all vellum. End papers, 100% cotton rag, sewn on dual bands, packed sewing, German primary end bands. And then this one here is the same thing pretty much, except the boards are laced on. Now these are 100% cotton rag. Also, the end paper is a faux vellum. So we're going to be doing some of these from start to finish this year. This batch is already underway, but we like making these. They're a lot of fun. So we're going to do some medieval bindings. I really want to do a Byzantine binding this year, and then of course a lot of the other stuff. I have a line on a gentleman, a young man who wants to work together and be an apprentice. So it'll be interesting to see if that actually comes through. And one of the other things I'm trying to do is by the end of March, I would really like to have a publicly accessible commercial space, because working out of my house, while it's convenient on some levels, genuinely sucks. The distractions, the space limitations, and the space limitations are mostly me. I'm very comfortable in wide open spaces, and I have a much larger bench than this one that I enjoy working on, because I can have several projects out without overlapping, without clutter, and blah, 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 blah. And I'd really love you to come and visit sometime and come and hang out and check out the bindery, have some coffee or wine or whatever you want, and just hang out and talk and wax philosophical and maybe bind a book if you want. So I'm pretty much reaching the end of today's live session, and I realized we didn't actually do the bookbinding today. And later on this week, I'm going to do a business session. We're going to do some bookbinding next week. But what I need from you, if you watch this to this point, you obviously have a vested interest or care about bookbinding and restoration on some level. Either that or you're some weird voyeur that likes bearded men in glasses. I don't know. I need to know what days work best for you for BookForge Live, and times. What times would you watch this live? That way, when we do get to a point where I can respond to the screen, I can respond in real time. And you can watch in real time, and I would really enjoy that, because right now I feel like I'm talking to a wall, not too far off. There's a camera in front of the wall, but I'm talking to it. But I would really love that interaction. I would love the community feeling of people joining in on the conversation, joining in on the process. That's one of the reasons I started putting polls on the design bindings. As I was developing my concepts, I already know which one I want to do. I'm curious to find out which ones you are interested in, and maybe I would just go do that one. And then you're part of the process, and it becomes something larger than myself. So please, in the comments below, tell me what day, what time, or what days and times work best for you for a live session that you can watch live. And then put that in the comments below. If you never have time, and there isn't a day or time, and you watch these asynchronously, offline, off time, just say hello. Put a hello down there in the comments. I would love to hear from any of you. So I'm going to sum this up. My name is Edward Kranz. I am the Honey Badger Binder of BookForge. This has been the first session of BookForge Live of 2026. I am so glad that you spent your time with me right now. And I hope you have a super fantastic day, week, month, year, life, and happy bookbinding. Thank you very much.